Hey guys, Kevin Downey here from Kevin M. Downey, a strategic advisor at Aptive Index. Thanks so much for taking the time. Really appreciate it. This video, I want to talk about how you go about hiring a rep, say for your sales team, that's built for cold outreach, right? So B2B, obviously, but you're looking for, you think sales rep, right, is the thing we're thinking about here. And specifically, we're going to talk about business development representatives that do nothing but cold outreach, right? So how do we find someone that's literally wired for it, built for it, so we don't have to push so hard or force it, if you will? And then a lot of reps, obviously, we're hiring for sales aren't even doing it, or they're doing it very lackluster or very low volume. They're not consistent about it. There's always something else that comes up that keeps them from doing their cold outreach. And it's frustrating for companies. And we're seeing a lot of companies, I'd almost call it an epidemic circumstance now. But how do we go about finding a rep that's built for cold outreach, so we don't have to worry about it? We just teach them, train them, give them a process, give them a list, and away they're going to go, and they're going to be successful from the get-go, right? So let's talk about very quickly Aptive Index and what it is effectively that we're doing here. So we are measuring very specific attributes, what we would call hardwiring, that identifies what type of job we are built for, right? I talk about it in a lot of other videos, the technical side of it and all that stuff. But in this case, in sales, we're looking for very specific attributes, in this case, cognitive attributes. They don't change, right? And in Aptive Index, we measure 4 that make a primary profile or a core profile, and then we measure 4 standalone attributes. In this case, we're only worried about intensity and in ER, emotional resonance, right? I'm going to show you why. Okay, so what are we dealing with as a problem in hiring for sales today, B2B in particular, and cold outreach? We're hiring reps based on resume and experience. They got all this stuff. They got this glorious resume. They got all these numbers, quotas they've hit, and blah, blah, blah. We don't really know if they've done any cold outreach. They'll tell you they're built for it or they'll do it, right? We hire them. We pay them these enormous salaries, and 6 months, 12 months down the road, they barely move the needle. Why? Because they're not built for it. Cold outreach today requires too much of the same pattern or process over and over again, day after day after day. 50 to 100 calls, hitting a ton of voicemails, right? Maybe throwing an email in here and there. But we're doing the same thing, pattern repeating itself. And companies are frustrated because they hire these salespeople. They look great on paper, and they could sell, right? If they get leads, they actually do a pretty good job presenting and selling, right? Closing, getting paper. But they're not moving the needle on the front end hardly at all, right? For a lot of companies. And the reason is because they're not built for cold outreach. Modern cold outreach looks like this. This is what we're looking for. Really high consistency. Low ER, low to mid ER, low to mid intensity, right? Decent sociability, right? This is influence, sociability, consistency, precision. We are looking for people that are built for consistency, high consistency, doing the same thing over and over and over again, every day, all day. That's all they do. We don't want them too intense because we don't want them to flame out on us. We need them to just do it, grind, go, 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 like Energizer Bunny, but like consistent. We're not going up, we're not going down. We're just consistent, pattern, repeating day after day after day. Okay, let's look at our 2 primary sales profiles. More likely in a farmer sale. Farmer sale is more of an account manager, maybe some cross-selling and upselling, right? But not overly aggressive, typically doing a lot of order taking, maintaining a relationship with a customer, and checking in on a very regular basis, maybe weekly, maybe monthly, somewhere in there, right? We're looking for high sociability, right? We don't need them overly intense. If they have to cross-sell, upsell aggressively, we might raise influence and raise intensity a little bit. But at the end of the day, we're worried about sociability. We want them to just maintain that relationship and just be the go-to person. Gets along with everybody, great with everybody, has the gift of gab, right? The right business, they've got a little bit of that in them. They're salespeople, but they're account managers. They take care of people, and they're just really good on the sociability side. All right. Hunter sale. This is a sales rep that follows up with leads. They are presenting maybe multiple times to companies. Their job is to get paper, but then when they're done selling, they don't maintain a relationship with the customer, at least not a very regular one. So in other words, they might have to do like an annual renewal or something like that, but at the end of the day, they're not checking in with the customer every week, every month. Somebody else is doing fulfillment of the deliverable, right? Okay. This person is different than a farmer sales rep. Hunter sales rep, we want high influence, high intensity. They got to go hard, get paper, and they're done. right? I'm not worried about sociability that much. Consistency, precision can be middle, fine. I need high influence, high intensity, right? Now I want you to look at this, and we talk about cold outreach and finding somebody built for cold outreach. Let's compare these two. There's a BDR, there's a hunter sale. Not even in the same ballpark, right? Here's our BDR, SDR at Kevin M. Downey. Not even remotely close. Not even remotely close. Other than sociability is fine, right? He's not high influence, right? Consistency, precision are pretty high, decent, right? There's no way. Not built to be a hunter sales rep at all. But you look at him on BDR, right? BDR, SDR type role. Look at that. Right on the nut, but more or less. Very close. Been successful for a long time for our agency. Why? He is built to do the same thing over and over again every day, all day, 50, 75 calls, checking in, with the leads, trying to move them to a call, to sales, over and over again, day in and day out, not overly intense, emotional resonance really low, so that we're fairly low, so they're not worried, they're not going to take it personally, it doesn't phase their work, they're not going to get by the rejection, or hitting voicemail all the time. We're not high influence, don't need to be high social, a little bit's okay. We need high consistency, doing it every day, all day. This is the type of profile that you are looking for when we say built for cold outreach, right here. And if you go through our agency for recruiting, obviously we can run them through the assessment so we can find the people that are wired for the job. Also, if you sign as an Aptive Index client through our agency, you can. Then you've got your own account and you can do it for every position in your company. But if we go through my agency for, let's say, sales recruiting, and again, we work on a contingency basis, we're going to run in the United States recruiting. We are running everybody through assessment if we can. Some clients still like us. We get video introductions as well from candidates. Some clients still like us to get video, but for the most part in sales and business development roles, we are in everything in sales. We are running everybody through Aptive Index first because it is the core thing we are using to identify if they're built for sales and what type. Then we look at resume. Then we look at background and experience because I don't care what the resume says or their background experience. If the dots don't match up to the job, I'm not interested. We don't want to look at them. It's a waste of time. Okay. That's how you find people that are built for cold outreach. Line them up. Aptive Index. They got to be this kind of profile. And if they are built for it. And that's how you will find success right out of the gate with them. Okay. Hopefully that helps you. Check in with us if you need any help. KevinMDowney.com. Thanks for being here today. Best of luck in business. And we'll talk to you soon. Thanks.